Alright, how to use the Hazardous Material Regulations, CFR 49, parts 100 to 185. I demand this. This is a workbook with answers and sheets. It's about 30 pages long, so go out and get yourself a $1 notebook, and we'll talk about the how to use the Hazardous Material Regulations, the CFR 49, part 100 to 185, U.S. Department of Transportation Pipeline Hazardous Materials and Safety Administration. The information recommends that the U.S. DOT issues a transportation regulation entitled 49 Transportation of the Code Federal Regulations. The Hazardous Material Regulations of the HMR are in volume containing parts 100 through 185, governing the transportation hazardous materials in all modes of transportation: air, highway, and rail, and water. The Code Federal Regulations, CFR, has force of law. All regulations are issued by federal agencies to carry out responsibility imposed on the agencies and Congress. Objectives: upon the completion of this workbook, you should be able to locate parts, subparts, sections, and reference with the HMR. Locate tab reference sections of the HMR. Use the HMR to locate specific information. Material checklist. To complete this workbook, you need a current copy of the HMR CFR parts 185, paper and pen and pencil, notes and exercises, approximately 40 gum tabs, and a straight edge marker or ruler. The recommendations of the HMR must be used and determine the requirements of shipping and hazardous materials, and should be treated like technical or a reference book. Ready or carefully, always ready, and other sections reference. When determination compliance, all that use the current HMR and Federal Register notice issued since the published date. It recommends that you tab your copy of the 49 CFR parts of 100 to 185 of Title 9 Code Federal Regulations, parts 100 to 185, recommending tabbing guides in pages 6 through 7. The structure of a code: federal regulations. The Code Federal Regulations follows the basic outline used in most written material headings, following the descending order shown below. Title 49, Transportation. Subtitle B, the other regulations relating to the transportation. Chapter 1, Pipeline Hazardous Material Safety Administration, or DOT, Department of Transportation, or the PHMSA. Subchapter C, Hazardous Material Regulations. Part 172, Hazardous Material Tables, Hazardous Material Communication Regulations, Emergency Response Information, and Training Requirements. So subpart D, the marking. Sections 172 through 301 and 172.301A, 172.301A1, and 172.310A1AI, listed in underparts as needed in descending order. Turn the page to 1 in CFR parts 100 through 185. Notice the CR title at the top of the page. The title 49, Transportation. The parts contained in this volume are noted in parentheses. The book contains parts 100 to 185. The subtitles and chapters are listed. Subtitle B and the other regulations relating to transportation. Chapter 1, Pipeline Hazardous Material Safety Administration, Department of Transportation. Now locate Chapter 1, Index. Chapter 1, Pipeline Hazardous Material Safety Administration, Department of Transportation. Notice the subchapter C contains hazardous material regulations and HMR. The pyramid diagram illustrates the HMR format as just discussed, in location as in the Title 49, Transportation up top. Subtitles B, the regulations just below. Chapter 1, Pipeline Hazardous Material Safety Administration, Department of Transportation. Third and down the pyramid. Fourth down the pyramid, subchapter Hazardous Material Regulations and parts 171. That goes from 171 to 180. It goes down in a descending order from title to subtitle to chapter to subchapter to parts. Rules of construction 171.9, usually specifically stated otherwise. Singular words include the plural. Plural words include the singular. Masculine words include feminine. Must means required. Shall means required. Should mean recommended but not required. May means permitted but not required. Includes but not limited to. And no person means no person is required, authorized, or permitted to. Exercise 1 Parts. Title 49 Code Federal Regulations of Part 100 through 185. Locate the Chapter 1 index read this heading of the subchapters A, B, and C. Fill in the blanks in the parts where each type subject is addressed in HMR. Carrier, the part number, heading. The headings are carriage by aircraft, carriage by rail, carriage by vessel, carriage by public highway, general information regulations, definition, hazardous material tables, provisions, hazardous material communications, emergency response information, training requirements, heading, shippers heading, general requirements of shipping and packaging, heading, specifications of packaging, heading, specifications for tanker cars, and specific heading for continuing qualification for maintenance of packaging. And we're looking for the part number and exercise 1 in parts chapter 1 index, reading the headings of the subchapters A, B, and C to fill in the blanks of the part where the HMR address the HMR. Exercise 2, locate the reference numbers. CFR reference number, bold numbers referring to the section are the top outside corners of each page of the HMR. The reference numbers have been same location purpose. Proposes dictionary locator words of top of each page in dictionary, that is number on the top left of CFR reference numbers that begins in the page. The number of the top right and facing page is a reference number for the last CFR and reference number on the page. An important use to the reference number or rather than page numbers to locate HMR information. The page numbers of Title 49 Code Federal Regulations are always changing, but revisions, additions, deletions, and annual reporting or annual reprinting of the CFR. Turn of the subchapters, the beginning of HMR. Subchapters, hazardous material regulations, Part 171, general information regulations, definitions. Use of reference number at the top of the HMR. Notice of the Part 171. Beginning with a table of contents. The table of contents listed in the headings within the Part 171 by section numbers, not by page numbers, but scanning the section of the Parts 171, notice the parts of section and numbers are in the bold and on top of each page. The number refer to the section that begins on the end of the page. Subchapter C, hazardous material regulations, Title 49, Chapter 110. 01 edition, Part 171, regulations information. Purpose 71.1, purpose of scope. 71.2, general requirements. 71.3, hazardous waste. 71.4, marine pollutions. 71.6, control numbers under the Paperwork Reduction Act. 7.1.7, reference material, and 171.8, definitions, abbreviations. 171. Rules of construction. 171.10, units of measurement. 171.11, use of ICAO technical instructions. 171.12, import export shipment. And 171.12a, Canadian shipments and packagement. And over here we list on to the for the fourth, the use of the term symbols prescribed in the subchapter of the marking, labeling, placard describing hazardous materials and packaging used in transportation. Any person who under contract or any department, agency, instrumental of executive or legislative judicial branch of the federal government's transport cause is transported or shipped hazardous material, manufactured, fabricates, marks, maintains, conditions, repairs, or tests packages container within the represented market certified so owned by a person qualified for the use of transportation of hazardous materials shall be the subject and comply with all provisions of federal hazardous material transportation, all orders or regulations issued there under, and on all other substantial procedurals. Now, exercise 3 suggested tabbing for the HMR, the subject. We'll go down and we'll go subjects all the way down, references and such, suggested tabs. In general, general expectations and preemptions and registration, Part 107, suggested tab 107. Definitions, abbreviation 171.8, definitions. Hazardous materials, material table 172.101, HMT. Hazard material table. Appendix A, hazardous substance. Appendix A, APA. Appendix B, marine pollutants. Appendix B, APD. Special provisions 172.102 SP space PR. Shipping papers 172.200 SHP PAP. Certification 172.204 Cert. Hazardous waste manifest 172.205 M manifest MANSST. Marking 172.300 MRK. Labeling 172.4 LBL. Placarding 172.500 172.500 plaque. Emergency response information 172.600 EIR. Training 172.7 TRNG. Classing definitions 173.2 class prediction President's table President's table 173.2 APRE table. Waste packaging explanations 173.12 LBPK. Packaging general requirements 173.24 GENPK. Packaging 1 requirement non-bulk 173.24A and B. Packaging add 1 requirement bulk 173.24B. Bulk. Packaging reuse 173.28 package REUSE reuse. Empty packaging 173.29 MTPK AG. Specific packaging non-bulk part 173 subpart E and B. Packaging bulk part 173 part subpart F. Bulk. Hazard class definitions. Packaging class 1 explosives 173.50 class 1 class 2 gases 173.115 to 116 class 2 class 3 flammable combustible fluids 173.12 to 121 to class CL3. Class 4 flammable solid spontaneous combustible dangerous when wet 173.124-125 CL4. Class 5 oxidizers and oxygen peroxide 173.172 128 and 129 class 5. Class 6 poisonous material infection is the substances 173.123 or 173.132 133 134 class 6. Class 7 radioactive material 173.14 or 173.403 radioactive materials. Class 7 corrosive materials 173.136 137 class 8. Miscellaneous hazardous materials 173.140 and 141 class 9. Other regulated materials 173.144 145 ORM. Exercises suggested tabbing in HMR. Exceptions classes 2 gases 173.306 and 307 class 2 exceptions. Class 3 flammable combustible liquid 173.150 class 3 exemption. Class 4 flammable solid 173.151 class 4 exemption. Class 5 oxide or organic peroxide 173.152 class 5 exemption. Division 1.6.1 poisonous materials 173.153 division 6.1 extension. Class 8 corrosive materials 173.154 class 8 extension. Class 9 miscellaneous hazardous material 173.155 class 9 extension or exemption. Other regulated materials 173.156 ORMD exemption. Career requirements rail part 174 rail. Aircraft part 175 air. Vessel part 176 vessel. Highway part 177 highway. Packaging specs. Purposes of scope 178.1 scope. Applicable responsibility 178.2 app. Sees specs of the inner receptacles 178.33 inner. Specs of cylinders 178.35 cylinder. Specs portable tanks 178.24 portable tanks 178.245 PT. Spec turbo tanks MC331 178.337 331 MC338 178 338 338 .406 178 346 406 in the heading or should I say the suggested tab. The dot for 112, 178.348, 1412. Packaging for class 178.350 RAM, RAM. Packages of class 7 MB performance. Originated package 178.50 POP. Test NBC packages 178.60 MB test. Immediately buck container standards S70 178.7 IBCS. Testing IBCS 178.800 IBC test. Exercise 4, finding specific section. Locate and definition of the hazardous class. For example, class 1 explosive. Starting looking for in 171.8. 171.8 refers to 173.50. Reference numbers of the total top of the HMR pages located in 173.50. Class 1 definitions. Read the definitions. Locate the reference such as 172.20A1A3. Use the reference number at the top of the HMR pages to find the number of the closest 172.201. Follow the step-by-step process illustrated 172.201. 172. Or locate the top numbers in the CFR, Title 49 CFR for the bold numbers 172.201. First three numbers indicate the Part 172. 172.01. General entries. The title 172.201 is general entries. Contents. When the description of the hazardous material is required, including the shipping paper description, must conform the following requirements. Paragraph A. In the first paragraph under the general entries pertaining to the contents of shipping paper 172.201A, when the hazardous material is not subject to requirements, subchapter are described on the same shipping paragraph. Hazardous material describing or description and entries in the required of 172.201 172.202 and the additional entries that may require 172 to 203. And if you look at if we go back to the pyramid, we're going right down the list, the subparagraph of the four subparagraphs under the paragraph 172.201A 1 through 4 must be entered in first. In subparagraph 172.201A and 1A has three subparagraphs 1 through 3. Most entry color or clearly contrast description shipping paper of material not subject to the requirements of the subchapter except for the description and reproduction shipping paper highlighted rather than printed in contrasting color. The provisions other than paragraph only on the basic description required on 172.202A 1 and 2 and 3 and 3, there must identify the entry of the X placed on the proper shipping in the column contaminant or caption HM of the X may be replaced with RQ if appropriate. Finding 172.201A13. Complete the sentence and must be identified by the entry and placed before the proper shipping number. 2. The required shipping description shipping paper, all copies there are used for transportation purposes, must be eligible to printable manually or mechanically into English. X is the correct answer. Exercise 5. The communication of hazardous. Proper shipping name and hazard class, division, packaging, group, marking, labels, and placard communication of hazardous materials to locate proper shipping name and transportation requirements. The hazardous material turn to the hazardous material table in Part 120, Part 172. Hazardous material table is the backbone of the regulation. Use table of contents at the beginning of Part 172 to complete the exercise below and fill in the blanks. Subpart A, heading General, Section 172.172.3. B, hazardous material table blank. B, blank 172.102. Blank shipping papers 172.200 to 172.205. D, 1 blank 172.300 to 172.38. E, labeling 172.400 to blank. F, placarding 172.500, 1.700, 172.560. G, emergency information blank 172.600-172.604. Appendix. A, appendixes A, table 1 and 2 to 172.101 and fill in the blank. Appendix B to 172.101 and fill in the blank. Appendix C, Part 1072 includes Appendix include Appendix A is a hazardous substance, B is a marine pollutant. Frequently used material, rulemaking procedures, Part 107, 106. Part 107, hazardous material program procedures, exemptions, presumptions, designation of approval, certificate, agency, enforcement, and registration. Part 107, general information regulation. 107.8, definition, abbreviation. 107.9, rules of construction. 107.11, use of ICAO technical instructions. 107.112, important export shipments, and 171.12a Canadian shipment and packaging. 171.15 and 16 hazardous material incidents, notify and report. Part 172, hazardous material table, special provisions, hazardous material communication, emergency response information, training requirements, purpose of scope, hazardous material table, special provisions, shipping paper, or 171.1, purpose of scope, 171.101, hazardous material table, 171.02, special provision, 172.200, shipping papers, applicability, A 172.300, marking and applicable, 172.400, 172.400, general label requirements, 172.500, placking applicability, 172.600, emergency response information, 172.700, training requirements, part 70, 173, shippers, general requirements of shipments and packaging purposes and hazard material classes into definition, packaging expectations, small quantity exemptions, agriculture operations, materials and trading and exceptions. 173.1, 173.2, 173.3, 173.4, 173.5, 173.6, materials of trade exemption. 173.21, forbidden material and packages. 173.22, shipper's responsibility. 173.24, general requirements for packaging and packages. 173.24, additional requirements of non-bulk packaging and packages. 173.24b, additional requirements for bulk packages. 173.25, authorized packages and overpacks. 173.27, general requirements of transportation aircraft. 173.28, reuse, recondition, remanufacture packaging. 173.29, empty packaging. 173.300, loading and unloading transportation vehicles. 173.301, requirements of shipping compressed cylinders and specific cylindrical pressure vessels. Specific hazard classes references. 173.500, class 1 explosives. 173.115, class 2 division 2.1, 2.2, 2.3 gases. 173.120, classes 3 flammable liquids, combustibility liquids. 173.124, class 4 division 1, 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.1 flammable solid. 4.2 specific combustibility materials, division 4.3 division or dangerous when wet. 1.73.127, class 5 divisions 5.1 oxidizers. 173.128, class 5 division 5.2 organic peroxides. 173.132, class 6 division 6.1 poisonous materials. 173.134, class 6 division 6.2 infectious substances. 173.403, class 7 radioactive materials. 173.136, corrosive materials. 173.140, class 9 miscellaneous hazardous materials. 1.73.144, off regulated materials. ORM packaging group are designated on column 5 of 1.72.101 table, indicated in the degree of represented in the material packaging group, so are not assigned to the classes of the materials. The shipper is not responsible for determining appropriate packaging group. PG1 is great danger. Packaging group 2 is medium danger. PG2 packaging 3, PG3 and minor danger. If more than one of the packaging group is indicated, entry in packaging group for a hazard material must be Remember using the criteria found in Subpart D of Part 173. For example, kerosene liquid NOS listed as a HM2 as a PG1, 2, and 3 material. Shippers must determine packaging group material applying the criteria 173.123 Class 3 assignment of a packaging group 1. Flashpoints spacious. Initial boiling point greater than or equal to 35 degrees Celsius or 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Packaging 2, larger than 23 degrees Celsius and 73 degrees Fahrenheit and less than 35 degrees Celsius and 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Class packaging 3 is less than 23 degrees Celsius, more than 60 less than or equal to 23 degrees Celsius, greater than or equal to 60 to 0.5% Celsius or 141 degrees Fahrenheit, otherwise less than 35 degrees Celsius and 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Flash points and initial boiling points. Then we move on to step symbol ladder and the hazardous materials and step 1 classification and step 2 symbols, step 3 determining package, step 4 labeling, step 5 air or rail, step 6 is by water. Their task, and get a look at that. The hazardous material description and proper shipping names and symbols, hazardous divisions, identification numbers, PG label, code, specific provisions, packaging, quantable limitations, vessel storage, and then we move on from that goes down as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we step into what's known as the third determining packaging. Explanations, non-bulk, bulk is in packaging 8, and quantities, passengers, aircraft or rail, cargo, aircraft only 98, 94. Location and other 10A and 10B. Sodium peroxide 5.1 UN 1504 spacious 1 PG packaging 5.1 A20 and N34 more and 211 none forbidden 15 kilograms B and about 13.75 106. Then we, for example, sodium peroxide anhydrous is 5.1 UN 3.247 packaging 2 521 spacious 152 170 212 245 kilobytes 25 gigabytes A 1325 106. Sodium persulfate 51 UN 1506 part 3 51 A1 152 through 213 240 25 100 K 1A. Step 1, determine the proper shipping name, hazardous class division, identification number, packaging group. 2, determine symbol. 3, determine packaging exceptions, non-bulk packages, bulk determinations, and any special provisions or material that apply. The HMT column 2, 3, 4, 5, and then in determination signal 1, while in the determination package and exemptions of non-bulk and package and bulk packaging and determination of special provisions and any other material apply to the DA, DAB, DA 8, DA 8A, 8B, 8C, and 7. Step 4, determine labels. Step 5, determine air or air vessel or quantity limits. Determine water requirements. Check for all appendices of the material may also be as hazardous substances appendix C or marine pollutant appendix B. 6A, 6, 9A, 9B, 10A, and 10B. Hazardous material table summary. The Process of determining of compliance with the HMR always centers the 172.101 Hazardous Material Table Review Part 171 Subpart B, 172.101 AK, and a very brief description of the process follows. Identify the material by proper shipping, column 2, hazard class and division, column 3, identification number, column 4, packaging group, if appropriate, column 5. Remember, always check the appendices of HMT 172.101. Appendix A, the hazardous material may also be a hazardous substance. Appendix B, hazardous material may also be as marine pollutant. Step 2, check symbols determining the restrictions. Plus A, D, G, I, or W will apply in column 1. Determining packaging. For the material selected, determining the authorized package. Column 8A, 8B, and 8C. Check for provisions for the material selected and determine the special provisions in column 7. Step 4, label the package for the material selected and determine hazardous warning label in column 6. Note the marking 172.300 and clacking card of 172.500 is required. Check all rail limitations, the transportation and or rail determining package limitations at column 9A and 9B. Step 6, check all the water limitations of the transportation of water, determine what vessel and shipment requirements of column 10A and 10B. Additional requirements of 172.204, the shipper send certification 172.301 for 2 and packaging marking, and 172.402 additional label, and 172.504 plaque card, 172.602 and 604 emergency response information and telephone number. Hazardous material table is an appendix. Hazardous materials, hazardous substance materials, also hazardous substance when material listed as an appendix A, HMT 172.101. The concentration limits and are exceeded and amount of one package excludes, equal or exceeds the reportable quantity of RCQ, petroleum lubrication, fuel products, and non-consideration hazardous substances. Read the footnotes in appendix A, and the footnote may affect the proper shipping name and sections. In footnotes, Appendix B, the marine pollutants. Hazardous material is also a marine pollutant when the hazardous material is located in Appendix B and HAZMAT 172.101 and the subpart. And the solution in the mixture concentration, by the way, is 10% of the material listed in the Appendix B. 1% of the material identified in the served marine pollutant in the Appendix B. Requirements special in marine pollutants apply in the marine pollutants transported by vessel and do not apply in non-bulk shipments of rail, airway, or highway. Test your knowledge on HMR. Are you the subject to HMR? Do you prepare and offer transportation any hazardous material, motor vehicle, railway car, aircraft, or vessel? Do you manufacture, repair, recondition containers, transportation, or hazardous material? Yes or no? Do you understand the scope of HMR industry standards and have incorporated to the hazardous material regulations? Some word of them different meanings when they use in conjunction with HMR. Air shipments be transportation in accordance with the International Civil Aviation Organization, the ICAO. Technical instructions. Importing shipments requiring certification just prior to the acceptance of the initial carrier in the U.S. True or false? These are. And hazardous materials incident spills may require immediate and written notification to U.S. True or false? Test your knowledge of the HMR answers. If you answered yes to the question 1 and question 2, the hazardous material regulations apply to you, and you must comply with the aspects of HMR, including the training hazardous material employees of Subpart H and 172.700. You may also require to be registered with the pay of a fee to U.S. Subpart G and 107.601. Recommendations reads 171.172 HMR to determine how the regulations apply to you. Do you understand the scope of HMR? The true industry has been incorporated a reference to have a force of the law of 171.7. True, the some words have different meanings when used in conjunction with HMR because they become familiar with definitions of 171.8 in the glossary on page 118 of this document. True, air shipments have been transported in accordance with the ICAO technical instruction. 4 more details of 171.11. True, important true It is important that shipments require certification prior to acceptance for initial carrier to the U.S. and C-171.12. True, the shipments prepared and according to Canada and TDG regulations may enter the United States at C-171.1A. True, the hazardous material incidents or spills meeting and conditions in 171.15 requiring notification to the U.S. Please read the details in 171.15, 171.16. Resources of training and assistance. The Office of Hazardous Material Initiatives and Training, OHMIT, AMIT. U.S. of the Pipeline Hazardous Materials Administration, the PHMS. AMIT is the Office of Material Initiatives and Training. It is responsible for the development and dissemination of hazardous training and technical assistances, information enhancing compliance, enforcement, and uniformity and emergency preparedness. HAZMAT Safety Assistance and Team, HMSAT. HMSAT establishes an industry regulatory requirements help businesses find resources need to comply with HMR. They provide the technical assistance for the emergency response planning community field staff and located in the Georgia, New Jersey, Texas, Illinois, and California. For information, HAZMAT.gov. Hazardous Material Information Center, U.S. Department of Transportation Pipeline Hazardous Material Safety Administration Officer, Hazardous Material Initiatives Training, PAHH 50, Washington, D.C. 22590-001, 1-800-467-492. The email training at .gov, 202-30666-448, fax 202-366-7342, phone 202-366-2301. The glossary, acronyms, and common abbreviations. AAR, the Association of American Railways. API, the American Petroleum Institute. ACM, American Society of Mechanical Engineers. ATI, or ATA, American Trucking Association. ATAA, Air Transportation Association American. BOV, Bureau of Explosives. AR, BTW, British Thermal Units. CC, Celsius and Centigrade. CAR, Committee Awareness Emergency Response Program, the CMA. Chemical Abstract Service Number, CAS, and CDG, Carriage of Dangerous Goods and Subcommittee. CERSULA, Comprehensive Environmental Response Compensation Liability Act of 1980, Superfunded. Council of Emergency Response Tribes. CFR, Code of Federal Regulations. C, Compressed Gas Association, Chemical Track. CHMETREC. Chemical Track is Chemical Transportation Emergency Center, CMA. The CLOREP, the Chlorine Emergency Plan. The CRIS is in Chris, Chemical Hazardous Response Information, US.USCG of the US Department of Transportation, US Standard Coast Guard. CMA, the Chemical Manufacturers Association. COE, the Committee of Expertise of the Transportation of Dangerous Goods in UN. CTG, the Canadian Transportation of Dangerous Goods. CVS, the Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance. The DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration of the U.S. DOC, the Department of Commerce, the U.S. DOD, the Department of Defense. DOE, the Department of Energy. DOJ, the Department of Justice. DOT, the Transportation. EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration. The FEMA, FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency. FHA, Federal Hazardous Substance Act. Federal HWA, Federal Highway Administration. US.DOT, Federal FFIRA, Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act. FMCSR, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations, US.FRA, the Federal Railroad Administrator, US.FHM, Hazardous Material, HZMAT, Hazardous Material, HMIS, Hazardous Material Information Sheets, or Information System, USD.PHMSA, HMIR, or HMR, Hazard Material Regulations, HMT, Hazard Material Table, Hazard Material Transportation Acts, HMTA, HMT USA, Hazard Material Transportation Uniform Safety Act, IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency, AITA, IATA, International Air Transportation Association, IATA, DGR, International Air Transportation and Dangerous Goods Regulations, EICAO, International Civil Aviation Organization, EICAO, TI, International Civil Aviation Organization Technical Instruction, IFFA, International Federation of Forwarding Agents, ID, NO, Point Identification Number, IM, Intermodular Portable Tank, IME, Institute of Makers of Explosives, IMO, International Material Organizations, IMO, International Material Dangerous Goods Code, INTREC, International Regulation Committee, HMAC, LPEC, Local Emergency Planning Committee, LTD, QTY, Limited Quantity, PAWP, Maximum Allowable Work Pressure, MCSAP, the Motor Carrier Safety Assistance Program, USDOT, FHWA, MOU, Memorandum of the Understanding, MARHT, Marked Rated Holding Time, MSDS, Material Safety Data Sheets, NA, North America, NAERG, North America Emergency Response Guidebook, NAST, TPO, National Association of SAR, Title III Program Officers, NCITD, National Council of International Trade Documentation, NCCE, National Coordination Council of Emergency Management, NCP, National Contingency Planning, National Emergency Management Acts, and NEMA, and NASHFA, National Emission Standard of Hazardous Air Pollution, NFP, National Fire Association, National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health, NOSHA, National Motor Freight Classification, MFC, NOAA, Association Atmospheric Administration, not otherwise indexed, NOI dotted, not otherwise indexed by name, NOIBN dotted, NOS dotted, not otherwise specified, National Propane Gas Association, MPGA, NRC, National Response Center, US DOT, and United States Coast Guard, NRT, the National Response Team, NSWMA, National Solid Waste Management Association, NTTC, National Tank Truckers, NVOCC, Non-Vessel Operation Common Carriers, Official Hazard Material Initiative Training, US DOT, PHMSA, OHMS, Office of Material Safety, Hazard Material Safety, US DOT, PHMSA, OIC, Officer of Charge, Oil Pollution Act of 1990, OPA, Orange Book, the UN Recommendations of Transportation of Dangerous Goods, the ORM, other regulated materials, OSHA, Occupational Safety Health Administration, OWTT, the One-Way Travel Time, PG Packaging Group, PHMSA, Pipeline Hazard Material Safety Administration, PIH, Poison Inhalation Hazard, PL, Public Law, POP, Performance-Oriented Packaging, PSI, pounds per square inch, PSI, pound square inch, absolute, PSIG, pound square inch gauge, QT, tempered, quench, and tempered, RAM, Radioactive Materials, RCRA, Resource Conservation Recovery Act 1980, RL, Regulated Limited, Canadian equivalent to RQ, and RQ Reportable Quantity, SARA, Superfunded Amendments of Reauthorization of 1986, SERC, State Emergency Response Commission, SCF, Standard Cubic Feet, STC, Single Trip Container, Transport Canada, TCTG, Transporting Dangerous Goods to Canada, TI, Transportation Index, TIH, Toxic Inhalation Hazard, TI3, Title III in Emergency Planning and Committee, Right to Know, Section SAR, TOFC, Trailer on Flat Car, TSCA, Toxic Substance and Control Act, TSI, Transportation Safety Institution. TSI, the Transportation Safety Institute, US.RITA, TIMA, Tractor Trailer Manufacturing Association, UN, United Nations, UNFC, United Uniform Freight Classification, UHMW, Uniform Hazardous Waste Manifest, USCG, United States Coastal Guard, VNTSC, VOLP, National Transportation System Center, US.RITA. Note, see Title 49 Code CFR 171.8 for in-depth definitions. Bulk packaging: a bulk transportation vehicle or freight container in which hazardous materials are loaded with no intermediate form of containment within their internal volume is greater than 450 liters or 119 gallons for a liquid, 100 kilograms of 882 in net mass for solid, or 454 kilograms or 1,000-pound water capacity for a gas. Note: bulk packaging is not a vessel or barge. Cargo product, including in its packaged cargo tank. A bulk packaging that is loaded and unloaded without being removed from the motor vehicle. The tank may or may not permanently attach for the motor vehicle. Chapter 15. Hazard material marking, label, and placking card. Compatibility relates to the possible interactions between material. One is to container, 2 is in the product, and may be loaded and transported together through compressed gases. Material mixtures meeting criteria 173.115 absolute pressures and 280 kPa, 141 PSIA at 20 degrees Celsius, 68 degrees Fahrenheit and greater. Compound 2 or more ingredients that are chemically united, subsequently listed in the location on each railway car in the train, may each serve as a shipping paper, being consistent with has all information required on U.S. dock, configuring buffer cars away from hazardous materials, further from multiple units. Dangerous goods and international teams of hazardous materials documentation completed with the required accompanying hazardous material. For example, shipping yard certified emergency response information and manifest emergency response information that can be used in mitigation of an incident involving hazardous material, ethological agents, infectious substances, expectations release of certain HM regulations applies to everyone exempt in the specific U.S. dot written for the certain MH regulation. Shipper carrier manufacturers 2-year limit but may be renewed. Part 107, subpart B of Title 49. Hazardous materials transportation. Flash points: the minimum temperature on which substance gives off flammable vapor. Substance will ignite when coming into contact or spark a flame. Forbidden: a material that is prohibited from being offered or accepted from transported. Prohibiting does not apply if these are the materials are applied. Diluted, stabilized, and incorporated into devices and class in accordance with Part 173, C 172, 101, D, and 1. Generators: an EPA term is the hazardous waste producer and or shipper. The grants and planning and training grants to deal with hazardous material or emergencies. Gross weight: total weight of the packaging including its contents. Hazardous class: a group of hazardous materials that show dangerous characteristics. U.S. dot identified in 9 hazardous classes based on dangers posed in transportation. Hazardous division: that's the means of subdividing similar hazardous material which require different hazardous communication. Hazardous material: a substance material capable of posing unreasonable risk to health and safety, public property when transported on commerce. A material listed Appendix A 172.101. Quantity of one package equals and exceeds a reportable quantity of RQ material and may be in solution and mixture. The definition does not apply to petroleum, lubricants, fuel products. Note the radionuclides referred to the Table 2 Appendix A of the HAZMAT. Hazardous waste: any material subject to hazardous waste manifest requirements of the EPA refer to the Title 40 Code Federal Regulations Part 262. A special shipping document required to the U.S. EPA hazardous waste shipments, also referred to as Unified Hazardous Waste Shipment manifest UHM and WM. And if you all U.S. dot requirements, i.e., basic description, proper shipping name, hazardous class, division, ID, numbered and packaging group, and are entered in the UHWM manifest may be used as shipping and paper Title 49 coefficient registry 172.2045 and identification number, the ID number, the UN and a 4-digit number assigned with the hazardous material, i.e. UN 1203 identification number, are listed in column 4 of this HMT. Used in identification emergency response in association with a reference to the placards. Additional to the entries and shipping papers usually placed in an complete description of hazardous material may be any format as long as clear and part of the entry. Incident unintentional release of hazardous materials or hazardous material, infectious substances, living microorganism, toxin, which may cause severe, disabling, fatal disease, term cyanosis, or with an etiological agent of Title 49 CFR 173.134, an irritating material, liquid or substance upon contact with fire or air, a material that gives off dangerous, intense irritation fumes, irritating material that does not include any poisonous material. Labels, hazardous classes identifier required hazardous materials packaging 100 mm diamond shaped square round point, identified hazardous class of symbol, color, sometimes by name, limited quantity, LTD, QTY, the amount of material for which is specific labeling or packaging explanations. Marine pollutant, hazardous material which listed in Appendix B of 172.101 with installation mixtures of one or more marine pollutant and packaging of concentration for military materials listed in Appendix B when equals the exceeded 10% of the weight of solution mixture and 1% weight of the solution of the material mixtures of materials that are identified as a served marine pollutants. Information procedure placed on the outside of the shipping container may be in one more following: proper shipping identification number, UN standard packaging number, instruction, caution to make less or measure to prevent and lessen the result of the release of federal hazardous material mixture, a material composed of one or more of the compounds, material vehicle, common car, motor carrier that transportates property for hire, motor vehicle contractor carrier, motor carrier that transportates only property for those shippers with whom they contract or contract by having a contractual agreement, motor vehicle private carrier, motor carrier transportation property which is owner of lease or bailey, such as the transportation and purpose of the sale of lease or rent multiple hazardous meeting material definition of more than one hazardous class division material must be class according to the position of precedence hazardous table in Title 470 Title 49 Code Federal Registry 173.2a, and net weight and measuring and weighting referral and continence packages and does not include the weight of any packaging material, non-bulk packaging, a packaging which has internal volume equal to or less than 450 liters or 119 gallons of for a liquid, 100 kilograms, 822 pounds for a mass for a solid, and 154 kilograms for water capacity for a gas. Overpack, an enclosure that is used in single consignor to provide protection, convenience, and handling of packaging. It may consolidate two or more packages. Packaging plus is contains packaging, a receptacle components material used in providing the packaging function in its conformance and HMR packaging expectations and providing general relief of certification specification for packaging requirement HMR packaging exemptions, specific written administration relief granted by PHMSA for certain requirements of HMR packaging, most providing equivalently levels of safety packaging group assigned based on the degree of danger and present by hazardous material. PG1 great danger, PG2 medium danger, PG3 minor danger, performance oriented container or any other components of material necessary for packaging or performing containment function. Specific testing procedures must be performed and so marked on packaging. Hazardous material transportation. Any one of the following: individual, firm, co-partner, company, association, joint stock association, including trustee, receivers, assigning single representative thereof, or government, Indian tribe, agency, instrumentation of any government or Indian tribe as a person, and plaque card as hazardous class identification required. A transportation vehicle, train class, freight crane containers, plaque cards of 273 millimeters, 10 by 8 inches, diamond shape, square on point, has a color coded, and may require numbers and notification. Emergency response, part 172, part sub F, plaque carding, determining applying correct plaque cards, 172 point sub part F, portable container, portable tank, bulk packaging designed and loaded and temporarily attached to the transported vehicle or vessel. Preemption to state or legal requirements. Preemption, state or legal requirements, conflict, federal hazardous material transportation law may be cited for federal government. Subpart C, presumption 107.201, primary label, and primary hazard of material class number in the lower end part of the labor end is required in Title 49, C, 172.402. Proper shipping list name is listed in Roman type of HM2 at 172.101. Italicized names is not proper shipping names. Materials having specific activity and greater than 0.002 microcures per gram. Title 49 CFR 173.403. Registration. A person that has transportation offers transfers and certain hazard material is required to register, pay fee into the user die. Procedure. And the person of the manufacturer, assemble, inspecting, to test, certify, the repair cargo tank and cargo tank motor vehicle. C 107.501. Reportable contact RQ RQ means the quantity specified in column 2 of the appendix A 172-101. If any material identified in column 1A of the appendix of the hazardous material transportation terms of continued residue the hazardous material remaining packaging, tanking car after unloading, shipping papers, manifest bill lading, shipping order documentation accompanying hazardous material shipments, and must contain information required by United States Department of U.S.C. Parts 172 subpart C, solution homogeneously liquid mixture of 2 or more chemical compounds. Mixture will not separate during transportation. Specification packaging specifically designed at particular classes of hazardous material packaging. Identification UN standard packaging or U.S. specification number or state of variation listed in ICAO technical instruction. Governmental option differing from the ICAO and technical instructions. Strong outermost ensure the protection inner package, preventing unintentional release of continents during the transportation. Subsidiary labels and placards identifying subsidiary secondary hazardous class numbers must not be shown in label or placard. C 172.101 and 172.519B4. Technical name, a recognized chemical name currently used in specific technical handbooks, journals, and texts. Trade numbers or trade names may not be used in technical names unless the HMT Transportation Independent Index dimensionless number of label radioactive material packaging designates the degree of control necessary during the transportation. And under unit load devices, any type of the freight container after contract aircraft pallet within a net aircraft pallet with not over an igloo. Notes for the 2 pages. And then once again, for information about hazardous material publications, visit our website, http://hazmat.gov, or write U.S. Department of Transportation Pipe Hazardous Material Safety Administration, 1200 New Jersey Avenue, SCPHH 50, Washington, D.C. 2509 and 001. Fax 202-3366. 7342. Email training at d.gov, and phone number 202-366-2301. Hazardous materials info line 1-800-HMR 4922. Buckle up, America.